Hola mis amigos and possible amigas, my name is Taff316 and welcome to episode 103 of Reading Your Comments. It is Thursday or maybe Wednesday for those of you on Patreon, getting the option to watch this a day early. Shout out to those of you who are doing that. But regardless of what day you're watching this on, let's read some comments. I know that the actual Reading Your Comments section of this week's Reading Your Comments lasted barely more than half of the total runtime of last week's Reading Your Comments. Yeah, it depends, really. It depends on how many comments I get on videos from the previous week, and not only how many comments, but how many comments I get that I think I can interact with, like for instance, one person, actually this is the first time it's ever happened, somebody got legitimately mad at me because I didn't read their comments and read your comments because their comment got 11 likes, and the reason I didn't read their comment is because it wasn't something I could really go off of, or I thought I could really play off of well. The comments I choose for these are comments I feel like I can bring a viewpoint to, or play off of, or do something with. So it's good to go back to commercials reactions and watch Taff be traumatized by trains. Yeah, there weren't really any trains in this new Christmas commercials one, but there may be some trains down the line in 2021. That's all I'm gonna say. Show's in trouble when the host is laughing maniacally to himself in front of a silent audience. Yeah, I was talking about Noel's house party. It was a little unsettling to watch at some points. It really was. Because again, that was like 2 weeks before he called the show, and then the next season after was the last. And it was somewhat unsettling, and it was kind of sad just being like, wow, he's just completely burnt out. Like, you could just tell he was completely done. Like, was that a good episode? No, but it really was. I said this at the end, too. It really was fascinating to watch, because you just watch it and you're like, wow, he was just done with this shit. Will we ever see another reaction to Brass Eye? It's non-sequentennial and every episode is gold, in my opinion. Maybe. Maybe. I mean, knowing the theme recently, possibly. For those of you who haven't caught on, the theme of this month has been doing sequels to things I haven't done a sequel for in a long time. We did Inside Number 9 for the first time in like a year and a half. Then we did, what was the other one? Mock the Week for the first time in a year and a half, and The Vicar of Dibley for the first time in 22 months. Tracy Beaker for the first time in like 26 months. That was the original Tracy Beaker reaction, I think, was in October of 2018. So maybe go to Brass Eye now? Maybe. I guess we'll find out. I want to wish Noah and everyone on here a very Merry Christmas. You too, buddy. I hope you had a good Christmas. I hope everybody had a good Christmas. Honestly, I think I had a decent one. All I wanted was socks, and I got them. I got a shitload of socks, which I was happy about because I literally had like 3 pairs of socks that didn't have holes in them. All my socks had holes in them. I had a lot of socks, but they all had holes in them. So I could just rip those up and get all those new pairs of socks in there. Also, I had these 1 pair of sweatpants that I used to wear because they're long, and they fit me, and they got pockets and everything, and they're comfortable. But I had 1 pair of them, and I got 3 more. So now, I got 4 pairs. Still got another day for everyone to wake up and realize 2020 was just all a bad dream. Yeah, Happy New Year, buddy. Let's hope this is a better one. Yeah, I've noticed a lot of American reacts to British TV videos in the last year. You need to copyright that shit like the Fine Bros tried to do. I could, but it would probably go about as well for me as it did for the Fine Bros. I always figured that a young man getting socks from relatives was down to them being too embarrassed to gift Kleenex or handkerchiefs. For me, it was down to all my socks had holes in them and I needed more socks. The best thumbnail is the one you did for the Passion of St. Tibulus with you and Blobby holding the banners. Love it. I can't take credit for that. I can't take credit. One of my Twitch viewers, Valkyra, actually made that. He messaged me on Discord. He's like, check your Discord. I made your thumbnail better. And I'm like, I'm changing it. Like, I have to use that. It was fucking brilliant. And as soon as I changed it, I got like 3 different comments like, are we gonna talk about the thumbnail? So thank you for that, Valkyra. It's probably the best thumbnail I have. When I was about 8 or 9, a man in my street stuck a knife in my football after I went into his back garden. What the fuck? It was signed by one of my favorite players. My dad, who was known to being quite a tough guy, ex-army boxer, went around and gave him a talking to. Yeah, I'd whoop some ass too, you kidding me? Like, someone accidentally kicks a football in your backyard and you stab it with a knife? What the fuck's wrong with you? Ball in neighbor's garden story. Oh, here we go. Well, not a ball. Myself and my sister were playing a swing ball in the garden. Our dad came out and decided it'd be a clever idea to attempt to kick the ball as it was swinging by. He missed, his slipper flew off his foot, somersaulted over the fence, and he had to go around and ask the woman next door if he could retrieve his slipper from her backyard. Karma's a bitch. I never thought YouTube would be easy. I made a couple videos on this channel before I decided to start another. I weirdly started wanting more viewers, but I've got a Facebook page with a few followers, but I'm hesitant to show my face on it. Don't know how you're comfortable with being on screen in front of so many people. Honestly, I don't really have self-confidence issues. because I'm very much aware of what I look like, and I don't really give a shit. Like, I'm very much, like, I'm self-aware. Like, I am aware that I'm not conventionally attractive. Like, that's not... We don't have to pretend like I am, because I'm not. Like, that's just fact of the matter. If in terms of common attractiveness on a scale from 1 to 10, I'd maybe be a 4, you know? So, I don't really give a shit about my image or what I look like, or if people are gonna make fun of me, because it's what I look like, man. You know, it's what I look like. So I think getting past that is a big part of it. Getting used to talking to a camera isn't a big part of it. Getting used to basically talking to yourself, because technically this is what I'm doing. I'm talking to myself. You have to get used to the sound of your own voice as well. If you, edit your own videos, that can take a little bit as well. Getting used to the sound of your own voice. Like, I don't like the sound of my own voice, but I'm fine with it. You know, like I don't like hearing myself talk, but I'm fine with how I sound because I've been editing my own voice for years. So really, it's about just self-confidence and just being confident in who you are, and self-acceptance, and really just not giving a shit about what a bunch of randoms on the internet think of you. I just remembered how I found you. I was watching American Direct Comedians and you popped up. I think. Probably not. My memory's rubbish. No, that's probably right, because I did 2 comedians compilations back in the day, like a couple years ago. And you know what, man? People can say whatever they want about Russell Howard, but I put him as the thumbnail in the first video, and that got like 300,000 views, so... much appreciated, Russell. Bad education, please. What's funny about this is I've already recorded episode 2. I recorded it like a week and a half ago, but you can't see it yet. I'm not going to be uploading it till March, and the reason for that is, for whatever reason, the copyright on the second episode is different from the first episode. I can put the first episode on YouTube, but I can't put the second episode on, because the first episode does not have a country block, but the second episode does. And I've already got the reaction videos scheduled for the next couple weeks. I already know what I'm going to do. So, unfortunately... there will not be one until probably sometime in March. Let me see, maybe March 8th I can get it out, and it'll have to be on Dailymotion. What's your funniest, most embarrassing story from your childhood? Man, I don't know if I remember really any embarrassing shit, because I feel like I blocked most of that from my subconscious, as I should. I feel like I blocked most of high school from my subconscious. I do remember a frustrating story. I guess it's kind of funny. It's like the dumbest thing I ever got in trouble for in school. It was very, very weird. So it was in middle school. So I was 11 or 12. I think I was 11. I was like 11. So after school was over, I went into the building to go to the bathroom to go pee, because I had to pee. So I went to go pee, and there were 2 other kids who were in a class of mine in the bathroom, and they were screwing around, just screwing with the hairdryer, and I was just ignoring them, just washing my hands. And then one of the teachers came in, because she heard them screwing around, and pulled us all out into the hallway, and sat us there, saying like, oh, you guys shouldn't be screwing around the bathroom. I'm like, I'm not doing anything. I'm just washing my hands. I didn't snitch them out. Like, I kind of did, I kind of didn't. I didn't say they were, screwing around, but I said I wasn't, So I'm like, I'm not doing shit. I'm just minding my own fucking business. And then our teacher walked by. Now, this teacher was a teacher of me and one of those kids. I had those 2 kids in a couple of classes, but just one of them and me were in that teacher's class. So she walks by, and the other teacher's like, you know them? And she points at me and that kid, and says, do you know? No, yeah, I know them. They're in my class. And then after she leaves, the other teachers point at the 2 other kids who aren't me and say, okay, you can leave. So I'm like, what? So the other kid was not one of the ones she pointed out. It was me. But she let the other 2 leave. So I'm still sitting there because I don't know if the other 2 kids snitched me out and I didn't hear it because I wasn't paying attention. I don't know. But she let them leave and they kept me there. And then she's like, do you understand what you did wrong? I'm like, I didn't do anything wrong. I was using the bathroom after school. She's like, well, you were causing disturbance there. I'm like, no, I wasn't. She's like, you were, and you were also not supposed to be in the bathroom in the building after school ends. I'm like, so I can't use the bathroom if school ends? She's like, you can't go in the building. I'm like, so I didn't say this, but I was thinking, okay, so I should just piss myself. Great. Because that's where the bathrooms are. They're in the building, and I walk home, and it takes me 30 minutes at the time to walk home, and I had to pee. So I guess I'm supposed to piss myself because the bell rang and school ended. So again, she reiterated, do you understand what you did wrong? Like, I didn't fucking do anything wrong. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. And then, now at my school, at that middle school, there was these things called infractions, right? A 1-point infraction was like some minor deal, like you're late. A 3-point infraction was like a mid deal. It was like talking back or causing a ruckus or whatever, and just being disturbance to class, stuff like that. And a 5-point infraction was like something bigger, something that could be considered for suspension, like fighting or whatever. So she's like, well, if you don't, fess up to what you did, you're gonna get a 3-point infraction. I'm like, what? Fess up to what? So she's like, do you understand what you did wrong? I'm like, I didn't do anything wrong. I used the bathroom. And she's like, okay, well, you're getting an infraction then. I'm like, okay. So they literally took me to a fucking classroom. She wrote out an infraction for me. And she looks at me before she writes it. She's like, if you just apologize, then I won't write this. I'm like, what I'm like, what am I apologizing for? I didn't do anything. I had to pee. So I peed. The other two were the ones screwing around, and you let them off. And I think I did snitch them out in that moment, because in that moment I did say that. And she's like, well, it's not about them, it's about you. I'm like, no, it's not about me. I didn't do anything. And then she wrote the infraction, and I'm like, okay. And then I think I just threw it away as I was leaving. And that was the most frustrating story I can remember from my childhood. Because what the hell, man? I got in trouble. I got that on my school record. It didn't matter because I transferred schools after that year anyway, because I moved cities. But I got in trouble for taking a piss, which, God, that was strange. All teachers love bullying kids. The only reason they take the job. That's an overreaction. That's a little bit of an overreaction. To be honest, despite that story, I got along with most of my teachers in school. I was pretty well liked by most teachers in schooling. But there definitely are some teachers that are just assholes. I feel it making noise. Noah Taft 2021. Hey man, you know what I mean. I combine the two things. I mean, I feel it vibrate, and I can hear the vibration noise on this, but the screen's blown out. Update on that, by the way. My new phone, this was a Google Pixel. It was a first generation. I got a Google Pixel 3, which apparently has the newest operating system as well, off eBay for like $130. Got it used, 64 gigabytes, not bad. Got a case as well for like $10. Because again, I don't use that as a phone. I don't have phone service on my phones because I don't have anyone to call anyway. So I wasn't gonna pay like $400 for something I wasn't gonna use as a phone. So that's why I got it for cheapish. I'm supposed to get that on Friday. This channel gets name-checked in a book called Scarred for Life Volume 2, Television in the 80s, and sections about public information films on a video you did about powerful stuff. What? Page is 468, and if you fancy a laugh, American YouTuber Tafford16 has posted a reaction video in which he sits for the entire thing watching kids blow up with the sword attached to air that only a teenager could muster. Well, I'm not a teenager, but... What? Really? Shit, I'm about to buy this fucking book. Am I gonna have to buy this fucking book right now? Shit. Alright, I really hope you're not busting my balls on this, because I just spent like $10 on this book. Let me see. 468, you said? 468. Here we go. 468. Where? Okay, now they're talking about powerful stuff. Interestingly, for a public information film, it's clearly something of an homage to Play Safe. Several short scenes and shots are repurposed from that very film. And yes, they do look slightly out of place in the late 80s joint, but it's a nice spot nonetheless. A genuine 80s classic, powerful stuff at its job, and then some going by the YouTube comments. Many a classroom were left speechless by the time those 15 minutes were up. One poor viewer was only 6 when I saw it. If you fancy a laugh, American YouTuber Taff316 has posted a reaction video in which he sits for the entire thing, watching kids blow up, sort of detached air that only a teenager could muster. There's a great comment underneath, though. British information films are like Game of Thrones. Everyone dies in the end. Wow. I'll be fucking damned. That is fucking crazy. No one's been cast as the Doctor, as Jodie has confirmed to be doing more than 2 series. The underdog in the Who race is Daniel Radcliffe. Really? Daniel Radcliffe or Richard Ayoade as possibilities. Like, that could be a fun series. I've learned not to take any notice of predictions for who's going to be the next Doctor Who. They all tend to be false or just baseless. It's not even confirmed she's leaving yet, but it wouldn't be surprising. Well, yeah, I mean, how many series has she done? 2? They usually do 3 nowadays, right? Isn't that the cycle? It's been recently, they do 3, so, I mean, yeah, she's probably not leaving immediately, no, but it's still fun to predict. Just realized it's been 3 years this month since I started watching you, and I have watched literally every reaction since, hand down favorite YouTuber. Well, thank you, buddy. I mean, you know, that's the goal, is to, you know, draw people in, and talked about this to somebody yesterday. It's just the goal is to make people laugh to what I can, you know, and help entertain people. That's the goal, you know. That's the goal. And it really is crazy though that I've had people watching me on YouTube for 3 years. It makes sense, but like it really is crazy, and like, man, like. Nerve and great, like I had a couple moments on Twitch earlier, like someone resubbed, Anna resubbed the other day for like 14 months, and Bald Spot resubbed for 12 months. I'm like, man, I've known you guys a year, I've known you over a year. Like, that's crazy. Time really does fly. Not to be that guy, but will we see any more Red Dwarf reaction videos? Yes, speaking of requests, I actually have 2 Red Dwarf requests pending for 2 different episodes. So, might try to get one of those done next month. Will you be reading your comments forever on this channel? Yes. I saw an advert for a show, I can't remember what it's called, but Stacey Dooley is doing a new documentary series, and looks like one episode's going to feature a couple from a Postmodern family. You've got to react to it after it airs. So, it did air. It aired as this is going up, I think 3 days ago. It's called Stacey Dooley Sleeps Over. It's their 2nd series of the 1st episode. Basically what she's doing in that show, to my understanding, is she's going and living in houses of unique families. The theme of the Postmodern Family episode is Tradwife. I suppose a Tradwife is basically a woman who is submissive to her husband in marriage. And apparently it's like 45 minutes, I think, without ads. I'm going to react to it. I don't care if I have to put on VO or whatever. I'm gonna see it. Like, I haven't seen it. Apparently, a couple of my Twitch viewers saw it, and they said it's just something else. Some people are trying to get an episode from me right now. But we might do that this month. I'm gonna see it, because holy shit, like, we gotta see what goes on there. Have you ever seen or reacted to the League of Gentlemen? You know, it's interesting. I was thinking about it at one point, and I decided to type it into the Google machine to try to get some more info. But every time I typed it up and clicked on a page, it just said it was a local show for local people, and that there was nothing for me there. So, weird. What's your ancestry, Taff? Mostly Irish. Mostly Irish. I think the last of my family to live in Ireland was the last of my direct bloodline, you know what I mean? It was like my great grandfather. I'm sure I have family in Ireland that I don't know about. Like I said, maybe I should do one of these Ancestry.com deals one day or something like that. So we're gonna start this video with a special occasion, reading other people's comments. And the only reason I'm doing this is because I've already had 1 or 2 people tell me about it, and I'm recording this early on Tuesday, so by the time this video goes out, I'm sure a lot more people have told me about it, so we might as well address it. The Postmodern Family, who I'm sure you're totally not sick of hearing of by now, did a behind-the-scenes video of their Stacey Dooley episode, and a couple of the comments were about me. I thought I'd choose this one because I thought it was funny. This one said, Jack Belton says, Taff316 did a reaction video to your show, and he and his subscribers badmouthed you. He's a bit of a sad case nutjob who insults people who don't share his views. Well, there's some truth to that. I'm not a racist, I'm not a xenophobe, I'm not a homophobe, I'm not a transphobe, and if you are, then I don't like you. So, yeah, there's some truth to that. Sad case nutjob? Yeah, give or take. But I do take offense to one part of that. I think I was decently fair in the reaction video, to be honest. The comment section was maybe a bit mean, but personally, I think I was shockingly fair in the reaction video. That might just be me, but I think I was pretty fair to them. And then the Postmodern Family, which I'm guessing was Felipe because he's in charge. He's the wall, brother. Bring on the Felipe. Said he's Pond Life. First off, joke's on you, because I don't know what that means. Second off, I'm willing to bet he doesn't either. He probably just heard it from one of his friends and figured it was a thing to say. Third off, look, I think most of you who think logically know that what game I'm playing. I think most of you know that this was never something that was going to end with them and I holding hands and being best friends. Obviously not. Obviously this was going to end in them not liking me. Do I give a shit? No. Because I wouldn't have done it if I cared. If I cared about them not liking me, you really think I would have done a whole 55-minute video on their weird-ass tradwife lifestyle? Do you really think I would have done that if I cared about them liking me? No. I knew, I even said way back a while ago that I knew they wouldn't like me if they ever heard of me, because we're so different, you know? They're overly religious, I'm not religious at all. They're conservative, heavy, I'm more in the middle, but more leaning liberal. You know, like, we're just too... I curse a lot, they don't. We're 2-3, technically. I'll count them both as one person since Lillian doesn't want to be her own person. We're two very different people. And I'm having fun, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just having fun. Like, there's a group of people who are so butthurt that I don't agree with their views. If you check every video I have, it has at least 7 dislikes because it's the same people every time that click on the video and dislike it. Do I care? No, because every time those people click on that video, they give me ad revenue. So, thank you for the ad revenue. You must like me a lot more than you let on for how much money you give me. I appreciate that. But like, I'm just having fun. I think it's funny. I bought one of their t-shirts, which I wore in the Idiot Abroad video. It cost me $25, and when I opened it, it smelled like paint. Do I care? Was it worth it? Yes, it was worth it, because it's funny. It's funny. And having a good laugh, in my opinion, is worth $25 and a paint smell in my room. It's worth some people saying mean things to me on the internet. If I was concerned about a bunch of butthole, butthurt bigots, triple B, saying bad things about me on the internet, then I wouldn't have gotten involved in this in the first place. But I don't care at all. They can say what they want about me. I'm just gonna sit here and laugh because it's funny. It was obviously a typo. He thought he'd written "He's Thug Life." I'm pretty sure that's clear. Yeah, he'd be wrong about that too. I know it's June, but are you doing the Christmas theme again in December? Yes, I still have a lot of Christmas videos left over. I have a separate folder, December reactions, and I have 33 videos in this folder. And that's not counting the influx of shit I'm probably going to get come October, November. So again, October and November is when I start planning that out. That's really the only part. I don't usually plan much in advance, but the Christmas month I usually do. So if you want to recommend Christmas stuff around that time period, is probably when you should. As long as you've at least got the sections at the end where you share your thoughts plus these weekly videos, personally, I don't think you can be accused of not reacting enough. I've seen some reactors in the past who barely move muscle or say anything during the video, who are usually just the latest Hollywood trailers done for clicks, and say nothing to the end other than like, comment, and subscribe. Like, comment, and subscribe, please. It fuels me. You know, that kind of shit. I get you. There's a reason you have subscribers and your Patreons. Keep doing what you're doing. Well, I appreciate that, but I mean, you know, you can't please everybody. You know, like, to be honest, there's some people that will see American reacts to British stuff and go in with a predetermined opinion of like, oh, you don't get it, or you're annoying because you're American, or you're a cunt because you're American. You know, which is like, okay, but I mean, and then, you know, I think every YouTuber deals with that. You know, like when you're first starting out and you get hate comments for the first time, when you haven't dealt with it before and you get it, you know, it hurts initially, you know, because it's like, wow, that's mean. Don't know I didn't deserve that. And, you know, and over time you get used to it, because that is, you have to, you know, you have to adapt or perish. So if you don't get used to it, you know, you're probably just gonna quit, or just have a bad time, you know. And every once in a while, you know, there's still some that get to you. Very rarely, but there's still sometimes just a comment that's like, wow, that was fucking mean. But then you remember that the person who wrote it is probably just mad because their parents don't love them. And then you move on with your life. There's still plenty of high-level cringe for you to watch in Peep Show. No spoilers for a certain episode in Series 4, which manages to take cringe to a whole new level. You know, it's interesting with Peep Show. Like, I like the show. I know some people might think I don't like the show because I haven't done it that often. I honestly like the show. Just for whatever reason, it's never stuck on the channel, you know? I don't know why. I don't know why. Maybe I need to just make a commitment to it or something. I don't know, but it's never really stuck, but maybe it will at some point here. I think with Peep Show, maybe it doesn't get the views because it's one of those shows that every American Reacts has done. Everyone asks for it and they're probably fed up watching already. Personally, I'd like to see you do it. Yeah, I mean, I've done a couple episodes and I'd like to do more in the future. I don't know if that's how it works, to be honest. Like, I go back and forth on whether, you know, because some people try to use that as the explanations, like, oh, well, everyone's on the same thing, you know? Like, I think me and BX Kid were synced up there for a little bit. But at the same time, you know, things are popular for a reason. You know, I'm sure certain shows will do better than others. Like, every single episode of Father Ted I did has over 20,000 views for a reason. My most viewed video on the In-Betweeners, which has over 500,000 views for a reason. Now, don't get me wrong, I like doing things that nobody else has done, you know. I do like doing that. Like the Dave Gorman video that I just did. Has anyone done a reaction video to Dave Gorman's Google Whack Adventure? I'd be willing to bet no. I'd be willing to bet nobody has sat there and reacted to the whole 2-hour thing, cut it up in 4 parts, and put it on Dailymotion. I'd be willing to bet that I'm the first person to do it. And if I'm not, I'm honestly impressed. It's just that sometimes niche things don't do as well, but maybe there's a niche thing that would do well and nobody's discovered it yet. Like, I don't, like fresh meat, I'd never really seen anyone do that, and that did well initially. So I don't know. It's a weird. Yeah, I honestly, I think it's just all random, if I'm being honest. I think a lot of it's just random. You never know, really. Just a thought, but in the same way that December is Christmas month and doesn't follow the regular schedule, how about a dedicated month of the year for just channel points requests would be a good way to catch up on a minute requests that are building up. You see, I could do that, and I've thought about doing that. Again, the problem is that the requests are like 80% Dailymotion videos, and I don't like to upload consecutive Dailymotion videos because I doubt it does much for me in the algorithm as it is. You know, just videos, just a minute-long videos linking videos to another website. So, I mean, and I don't know if spamming reaction videos every day would do much for, you know, my shit either, because they'd all just get minimal views because they're spammed. Oh, excuse me, they're spammed every day or multiple times a day. So, I mean, I could do, but I don't know if it would work. You should visit England, apply to be a contestant on a game show, then react to the episode you're in. My god. Then I can finally have original content. Genius. It's like 27 Celsius this week and I was dying thinking it was so hot. Yeah, it's around that temperature here too. That's why I shaved my head. By the way, I don't know if I mentioned that was why. It's too damn hot out here to be having hair. So I was just like I'm sweating already, but I'd be sweating more if I had hair. So I'm like, nah, fuck that. And I don't really give a shit about my hair anyway. Like this is how I cut my hair. I just shave it off. So yeah. Then I realized it's like 44 Celsius in Israel. Yeah, they're so hot over there. They're going crazy. They fucking go into war with the ice cream people. Do you have any tips for someone who wants to start streaming? Well, be yourself, but at the same time, you don't overthink it too much. You know, like some people go in thinking about it way too much. Like, oh, I gotta have this and that, and I gotta spend a couple $1,000s and all that. And then they average 10 viewers and think, you know, and then they're like, well, what the fuck? I did all this I was supposed to do, and nothing's happening. Really, what you gotta accept first off is nothing's guaranteed in anything on the internet. People think just getting a job and making money on the internet is easy. It's not. You actually have to be interesting, and you actually have to have a personality, and you actually have to present a reason for people to want to watch you. You know, you could have the most high-tech setup in the world, but if you're just sitting there not only saying something every 10 minutes and not really bringing anything to the table, then you're not going to get anywhere. I don't think that highly of myself, but at the same time, I have certain people on my Twitch who have watched me for 2+ years and they're still there. So the fact that I've been able to maintain a good amount of people for that amount of time must mean that I'm doing something right. So, you know, don't overthink it. Be yourself, but also give people a reason to watch, whether it's your personality, whether it's gameplay, whether it's something unique. You got to give people a reason to watch. I think Harry Kane will stay, not by choice, but because the chairman will slap the price tag too high, between 150 million and 200 million. Manchester City rumored to have agreed at 162 million according to The Sun. Oh, so it didn't happen then. Got you. The only way Kane will leave is by winding down his contract. I think it's another 3 years. I'm on Kane's side. He's too good for us and should be winning trophies, but the club just doesn't want to invest in the club even more with the multi-use arena. Fair enough. At least you're realistic. But the thing is, too, if Kane... Well, first off, it's interesting how this has developed since his comments been posted, because Kane's playing hardball now, it seems. He's sat out of practice last couple days. I don't know how that will change by the time this is uploaded. It's being recorded on Tuesday night. But I wonder, like, what happens if he's able to get out? Do Spurs just blow it up? Because, I mean, the rumor is if he gets out, Sun wants out as well, so they just do like I don't know, they just do a refresh or whatever, just get rid of Kane and Sun and bring in some new people. Do they convince Sun to stay? I don't know. The future there is it's interesting, that's for sure. Hello, Noah from Reading Your Comments. You look just like Noah from American Reacts to Father Ted and some 317 dude on Twitch. Really? There's people out there that look like me? I have to issue some copyright claims then. Can't have anybody looking like me. That begs the question, can you sue your identical twin for identity theft? Yes? It would be great if you could react to another 8 out of 10 Cats Does Countdown episode. Unfortunately, the wonderful and witty Sean Locke died yesterday. It'll be a lovely tribute to him. So here's the thing, I have some thoughts on this. First off, rest in peace to Sean Locke. I haven't seen a lot of him, but what I've seen from him, he seemed like a great comedian, and from what I've read about him, he seemed like a very genuine and great person as well. It's a very big loss, not only for his family, obviously I can't imagine how they're feeling, but just for comedy, not only in the United Kingdom, but just in the world in general. So rest in peace to him. And my thoughts on this, you say the word tribute. Here's where I differ. When you say tribute, I get what you mean. You're like, oh, we watch 8 out of 10 Cats, but I don't see it that way. People doing reaction videos to his stuff just after he died, you see it as tribute. I see it as exploitation. And I'll tell you why. And I want to state, I don't watch any of our reactioners. Reactioner is that a word? We're making it one. I don't watch any of our reactioners, so I'm not calling out anybody in particular. And what I'm about to say may indirectly piss some of them off. And if you're watching this and you made Seanlock content and I piss you off, I'm sorry, but at the same time, I don't care. Here's the thing. The people who are doing reaction videos to Seanlock's stuff immediately after he died aren't really doing it as a tribute. They're doing it because they know that they'll get views from it, because they know it's a hot topic, because they know it will bring traction to their channel. And that's why I call it exploitation. They're exploiting a man's death for YouTube views. And that's not my gimmick. If you do that and you can live with that, then that's you, brother. That's not me. I'm not in the business of exploiting the career and life of someone who just died about a week ago for YouTube views. That's not me. I'm not gonna do that. If you do, then if you know what, if you can do that and live with it and lie to yourself and say it's a tribute, then good for you. That's not me. I'm not saying I will not do 8 out of 10 cats or 8 out of 10 cats as countdown in the future at all. I probably will, but I'm not going to do it immediately because I'm not going to exploit a man's death for YouTube views. That's not me. Years ago when I was at school, something called clackers were a craze. They were two hard plastic balls suspended from a central tab by string. The idea was that by raising and lowering the tab in your hand, the clackers moved outwards and back, making a clacking sound. More skillful kids could make them clack above and below the tab repeatedly by moving their hand up and down quickly. The headmaster at my school banned them for the simple reason that he didn't like the clack 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 sound that he heard through his office window. Well, that's somewhat understandable. You know what that kind of reminds me of? I don't know if you guys had this. There's this, like, it was called Jacob's Ladder. It's a little, actually, I think I have one. Give me a second. I think I have. I swear I saw it. Oh, yeah. I saw this the other day. That comment reminded me of it. It was it's this deal. Where you have it and then you let it go and it goes like that. See that? Yeah. That's hours of fun right there. I've seen videos about Alfred, the Human Centipede films. Lord have mercy if you get channel points requests for that one. Yeah, no. I reserve the right to reject a channel points request if I feel it's something I really don't want to do. And yeah, that's not happening. I remember you doing Psychoville 2 years ago and keep telling us to look out for a League of Gentlemen surprise around January. Well, to be fair, I didn't say which January. So looking forward to car sharing, can't wait for more Robot Wars. I really wish they'd redo the show. I have a feeling they might. Again, it really strikes me as a show that, a couple years from now, in 2024, it wouldn't shock me if it just comes back again. Really great to hear we'll be getting more Outnumbered over the next 2 months. I'm really enjoying the show. Me too. So here's the thing. To do the Christmas special in July, I have to do... in December, I have to do 7 episodes, all of Series 2 over the next 2 months. So I could either do 3 episodes 1 month and then 4 the other, or 4 this in October and 3 in November, or 2 in October and 5 in November, or 5 in October and 2 in November. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, to be honest with you, but one way or another, we're gonna get it done. Your pronunciation made me giggle a bit. It's Morecambe, not Morecambe. Although I don't blame you, we're obsessed with having entire syllables at the end of words that aren't pronounced over here. Fair enough. To be honest, we've probably had this conversation before. I'm not gonna lie, and I probably forgot. But Morecambe. Okay, I'll try to remember that. I would hope to God I remember that when I actually do some of their show. It's actually pronounced Morecambe. Okay, first off, that's inappropriate. Second off, I'll just fucking Google it before I do the show, because I've gotten 50 different pronunciations at this point. I agree with you on Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. The classic Willy Wonka for me will always be a staple of my childhood. Well, same, but even if it wasn't, I still feel like I wouldn't like that Charlie and the Chocolate Factory movie. Like I said, Tim Burton's kind of hit or miss for me, and I hate to shit on Johnny Depp, but sometimes with Johnny Depp and I feel like this was very evident in that Lone Ranger movie. Sometimes I feel like he's just being Johnny Depp, You know, like, I'm not saying he can't character act, he can. But, like, sometimes I feel like in some movies he's just, like, being Johnny Depp. Like, that's the problem I have with Dwayne Johnson sometimes, do you ever seen a Dwayne Johnson movie where it's like, oh, well, he's just The Rock, you know? It seems like in most of his movies he's just The Rock. That's how I feel about Johnny Depp, not to the same extent, but sometimes. Sometimes I feel like he's just being Johnny Depp, and that was one of my problems with that movie. If anyone is playing the drinking game of having a shot every time he says the word comment, I hope your hangover isn't too bad tomorrow. I hope you're alive tomorrow. Outnumbered really brings out some of the great and funny reaction moments of She's One of Those. Yeah, you ever met someone like that who was like, oh, I'm living such a perfect life with my perfect family, and we're so prissy, and we do all these things, and we go running for the you know what I mean? Like, it's like, we get it, man. You have a good life. I don't. Fucking go away. I'm from the UK and the bowl cut was a universal thing. We all had them in the 80s and 90s. Yeah, same here, but I still wonder why. You know? Like, why? You know? Like looking back in it, it's really one of those things where I'm just like, why? Favorite fictional serial killers / horror villains would have to go with Norman Bates, Michael Myers, and Hannibal Lecter. I'll go Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, and Father Jack. Great. Yeah, that's an old meme. I remember when we kept doing that like every week. Although it's not great, it's more like great.